Okay, here are my 2 note cards. Growing up, I can always remember having my best friend right there next to me, by my side whenever I needed it. He was a friend, someone I could talk to, even if he didn't understand what I could say or what I was saying. He was always there to protect me. When I was younger, I remember this rabid raccoon coming down the front yard, and me and my sister were in the front yard playing. My dog saw him, ran after the raccoon, and pretty much killed the raccoon to protect us. So he was always there for me, always there when I needed someone to talk to, a friend, and it was great growing up with a dog. So dogs can teach us a lot of things, from responsibility to care and love, and they are truly what they're called as man's best friend. So over the years, the demand for dogs has grown, has increased rapidly, which has led to the creation of puppy mills. And pretty much puppy mills are bad because they treat dogs poorly, and they're just unsanitary, cruel conditions that these dogs are being bred into and eventually sold. So my name is Rich Onley, and I've had a lot of curiosity of the bad things about puppy mills and why it's better to adopt a dog rather than buying it from a pet store. So what are some of the advantages and disadvantages of mills and adoption? I've done a lot of research on the subject, so today I want to tell you a little bit about what I've learned and hopefully persuade you that next time you buy a dog or need to get a dog, to adopt it from a shelter rather than getting it from a puppy mill. So you might be asking yourself, what is a puppy mill? Puppy mills are defined as puppy mills are defined by Nicole Rubin's article of a commercial dog breeding facility that puts the priority of profit over the dog's health and well-being. These puppies are sold from these breeding mills as young as 8 weeks old, and oftentimes they die on the way to the stores or wherever they're being sold due to unsafe shipping conditions. So before they even make it to the store, a lot of them are dying. And that just goes to show you how bad that these conditions are coming from puppy mills. And that's after they've made it from the puppy mill, going all the way to the store. And these puppies can be sold in pet stores, on websites, anywhere from flea markets to newspaper articles. So it's kind of all over. The ASPCA estimates that there are 10,000 puppy mills in the United States, and only 2,000 of which are licensed by the USDA. Now, you might think that's a low number for being licensed by the USDA, but to tell the truth, it's really not even any better. The licensed ones aren't any better than the unlicensed ones, because the USDA doesn't really do that much to regulate or inspect these ones that are licensed by the USDA. So they're kind of free to do whatever they want to, however they want to, whenever they want to, with no regulation. So licensed or not, they're both bad. And now that we know what puppy mills are, I'm going to discuss a little bit with you about why they're bad. According to PuppyMillProject.com, these animals, let's say the moms of these puppies, are held in 24-hour confinement in wire cages, and they're usually stacked on top of each other, just like shipping boxes or something like that. And then and when they're in these cages, they have no protection from the heat, the cold, or inclement weather. So they're just outside in these wire cages stacked on top of each other. And they're also kept in very unsanitary conditions. As you can imagine, being stacked on top of each other in a wire cage, if they poop or pee, where's that going to go? Well, it's just going to fall on the dogs that are right underneath them. So these dogs are also often covered in feces, whether it be from another dog or their own. It's what they're sleeping in, it's what they live in. These are the kind of conditions that they're in. And like I said before, the profit is the main goal of the people operating these puppy mills. They have no care about the well-being of the dogs and how they're treated. If one dies, they throw it away, get another one, and keep on going. And these dogs are just constantly being bred in unsanitary conditions, and just it's really inhumane. They don't ever get the chance to go out and play fetch or run around a nice green lawn or anything like that. And most of their lives they're in a cage, or if they're not in the cage, they're being bred and put right back in the cage until they give birth. So, and I think maybe with dogs, normally if your dog gets sick, you'll take it to the vet, get help, something like that. These dogs in puppy mills, they never see a veterinarian. Um, Again, to maximize profits. If something goes wrong with the dog, it's cheaper for them just to get rid of that dog, get another one, and bring them in, than bringing in the vet to take care of it. So it's pretty much a large-scale factory. You want production as quick as you can, as cheap as you can, so that way your profits go up. It's the same thing with puppy mills. So now that we've discussed a little bit how dog facilities are bad, let's go into let's talk about why adopting is a little bit better than getting a puppy from a pet store or anything like that. In Michelle Rivera's article called "The Cost of Adopting a Puppy," adopting a dog can cost anywhere from nothing to $250. It all depends on how long that dog has been in the adoption facility and how much money they've had to spend on shots or anything like that to keep the dog healthy. So these facilities are just pretty much trying to get their money back from what they've had to put into the dog. So, like I said, it can go from anywhere from $0 to $250 to adopt a dog. So it's fairly cheap as opposed to looking to a pet store. And if you look at a pet store, your dog can cost anywhere from $500 to $3,000 depending on the breed of the dog, right? And so the ASPCA estimates that 670,000 dogs are euthanized every year in America due to overcrowding of shelters. So there's a surplus of animals in these adoption facilities, and they're just often, these dogs are either abandoned by their owners, they're rescued from unsafe conditions, or they've just been put up for adoption because their owner couldn't take care of them any longer and didn't want to just throw them out on the street, so they gave them to an adoption center. So oftentimes there's nothing wrong with these dogs. They're just looking for someone to come adopt them, give them a loving home, a loving family. And so that's why not only is it cheaper to adopt a dog, it's also better than buying one from a pet store, because that dog you can buy from the pet store, you never know where it came from, what it was brought up like many times, especially if you're buying from a store such as PetSmart or something like that. Those dogs are all coming from puppy mills. So after I've done all this research, I was really kind of surprised at how cruel these animal or puppy mills were, and how bad the conditions were that these dogs were being bred into, brought up into, and even the fact that once they leave that puppy mill, they're still in danger of dying on the way there, because they just don't care about these dogs that they're shipping to the pet store. So they'll just throw them literally in containers and put them in a shipping truck and send them to the store, and then no food, no water, and they die on the way there. So it was really surprising to me. And in case you were thinking like, oh well, I just bought this dog from this pet store, so I saved his life. Well, you're probably right, you did. You saved that dog's life, but you opened the door for another puppy to go through the same thing as the dog you just bought. Which we're doing that. Meanwhile, almost 1 million dogs a year are being euthanized in shelters, just waiting to be adopted. And these dogs are being brought through the puppy mills, are being treated horribly, and well, you have these dogs being put to death because there's 9 times out of 10 not much wrong with these dogs. They're just, like I said, looking for a home. So I really hope that the information you guys have learned today will make you consider adopting a dog from a shelter the next time you're in the market for a dog, instead of buying one from a puppy mill. And eventually I'd like to see these puppy mills, with the heinous situations that they're put to an end, and the dog shelters getting emptied out instead of almost 1 million dogs being euthanized every year. Thank you for your time.
How long was it supposed to be?
Up to 8 minutes.
How long was it?
Stop.